Welcome to Research Talk. We are in the process of learning different ways of ensuring high trustworthiness in qualitative research. In the previous videos, we talked about other methods such as members validation and triangulation methods. In this video, I'm going to talk about another method which we call it here peer debriefing. So what is peer debriefing? In peer debriefing, a researcher engages in discussion with a peer about the research process, including sampling, recruitment, data collection, data analysis, data interpretation. And by engaging in this conversation, they get more feedback from this peer, and this whole discussion leads to more rigor and validity in this whatever research is being conducted. So that's why we call it peer debriefing. So in peer debriefing, what happens is, as I said, as a researcher, you are engaged in discussion. Number one, you are engaged in discussion with a peer about the overall research process. Research process include your decision about the methodologies, your decision about sampling, your decision about data collection process, your data analysis, and data analysis also include interpretations. So during all this process, which is your research process, you are engaged with a peer and you discuss about all the decisions you are making, including data collection, data analysis, and interpretation. And then from this peer, you get feedback. So a peer can ask you, provide you feedback. A peer can ask critical questions. A peer can give you suggestions. So that is what the responsibility of a peer is in this process, that the peer, your peer, listen to your decisions and what you are doing as part of your data collection, data analysis, and data interpretation, and they provide you feedback about what they think, how you can improve the overall rigor and validity of your research. So that's why we call it peer debriefing. Now the question is, who could be your peer in this role? So who can really help you, give you good feedback to improve overall rigor of the research process? Now, if you're a doc student, then your committee is sort of in this role. So let's talk about who could be your peer. As I said, if you're a doc student, your doctoral committee is sort of a peer, can be in that role. They can, your methodologist on the committee, they are your peer, and they are providing you, not technically your peer, but they are sort of in this role, providing you more feedback around all the decisions you are making in your research process. If your colleague could also be your peer, so your colleague in your department, if I'm a novice researcher, my colleague can be in this role. They can do peer debriefing. Subject matter experts. So who are subject matter experts? So based on my study, whatever the focus of the study, the topic of the study, I can choose a subject matter expert who has knowledge and expertise about that topic, and they can be your peer in this role to ensure high trustworthiness. Your methodology, you can also consult a methodologist, and they could also be in this role. A methodologist is the one who has in-depth knowledge about the qualitative or quantitative, whatever methodology you are using. They have in-depth knowledge, so they can give you more feedback about the research design, data collection process, data analysis process, and enhance the rigor of your study. So your colleague, subject matter experts, methodologist, sometime outside people, outside reviewers can also play that role. So outside reviewers is like somebody who is not part of your organization. They are sort of external reviewers. So you can also invite, and again, based on the goal of your study, based on the topic of your study, you can decide who outside reviewers could be could participate as a peer debriefer who can give you more feedback. So that's what peer debriefing is. In summary, peer debriefing is a process wherein the researcher invites a peer who could be a colleague, a subject matter expert, a methodologist, or an outside reviewers who can support in maintaining the overall rigor of the process. So they can provide you feedback, suggestions about your sampling, recruitment, data collection, data analysis, and overall research process of your study. So that's peer debriefing, how it looks like. You remember we took an example in our previous video about international student experiences in higher education. Now, if I take the same example here and see who could be a peer role for peer debriefing, so could be a colleague of mine, could be somebody who has already done research on immigration related issues. They might provide you sort of from the stance of most like a subject matter expert. A methodologist, obviously, if I'm doing a phenomenological study, let's say, then somebody who has knowledge about this methodology could be a peer debriefer. And outside reviewers too, who has knowledge about the topic or subject, they can also be part of this process. So peer debriefing is widely used, and it's pretty useful in ensuring high level of rigor in the overall research process. So that's briefly about peer debriefing. Thank you.